session for today. Let's do a quick recap of what we had covered as a part of yesterday. Yesterday we had covered HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. We had experimented and we had practiced as to how exactly we could go about applying these lookup formulas. We saw that VLOOKUP we would use in circumstances where we would be using it for looking up for values vertically. So you have an array of data and you want Excel to execute a vertical lookup. In such cases, you would be using a VLOOKUP. Then we have HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP we would be using, it's very similar to VLOOKUP, but we would be using VLOOKUP in circumstances where, we would be using HLOOKUP in circumstances where we have to do a horizontal lookup. So that's the place where we would be using HLOOKUP. Then yesterday also we had learned how we could use VLOOKUP or VLOOKUP in tandem with match. We saw how we could use VLOOKUP in tandem with the match formula. Now you could replicate the same steps for HLOOKUP in tandem with match, but I didn't want to repeat the same thing again. It's just that instead of VLOOKUP, you will have to use an HLOOKUP, and the nature of your data array should be that it should be horizontal in nature. But you could still go ahead and use VLOOKUP in tandem with HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP in tandem with match functionality. So what we have in store for today is we would be learning how to go ahead and do a lookup with picture. Okay, we would be learning how we would be using VLOOKUP with picture. So the scenario is that we have to look up. Now, all the lookup functionalities that we learned until now, that is index, match, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, these functions or these formulas we were using to recall text data or text-based data. Now, how do we write or how do we prepare a lookup functionality to look up for pictures? Okay, how do we look up? How do we prepare a data? How do we go about Excel? How do we make Excel to carry out the lookup functionality if the nature of data changes from text to picture? So that's what we are going to be learning as a part of today's sessions. The first half of the session, we would be learning how exactly we could apply lookup in the case of pictures. Now, as a part of learning this functionality, we would be using a couple of concepts that we had learned earlier. Okay, we would be applying a lot of concepts that we have already learned earlier. So we would be learning we would be applying the functionality of match. We would be applying the functionality of index. We would be applying the functionality of name manager. Okay, so we will be using name manager, index, as well as match. So we will be applying all these three concepts together, and then we would be applying this. So to start off with, let's quickly turn over to our data set. I request all of you to please bring up your data set, the data set that I had already shared with all of you. So please bring up the data set. Okay. Now, as a part of the data set, we have noticed that, or if you would notice, if you look into this data set over here, you would see that I have actually prepared an array, a database or a data array, which has the names as well as the corresponding pictures. Now, for your lookup functionality to work with picture, there is something very important that you have to remember in mind. Your data set has to be formatted in this way. What I meant to say is you have to make sure that your picture is arranged within a cell. Okay, so you have to restructure your data in such a way that it will fit within a cell. Now, what happens if you have a data set like this, where it is extremely big and it is beyond a cell? Your lookup functionality for picture will not work appropriately. It will not work correctly. Okay, it will not work correctly. So if your lookup functionality has to work perfectly fine, what you have to do is you have to arrange your data set in this manner. Okay, you have to arrange your data set in this manner. That is, you have to make sure that your picture fits within a cell. Now, you could do that by changing the size of your cell or by changing the size of your picture. Okay, now you could change the size of your picture like this. You could click on the picture, then go to format option, and then you will get an option to adjust the height and the width. At the same time, you will also get an option to crop. Okay, you will get an option to crop. Okay, so you will have an option where you could crop or you could adjust the height and the width. Okay, so this is how you could go about restructuring the data. So in this case, what I've already done is I have actually sat and structured the data for you, because I didn't want to waste too much of time making you restructure the data. But this is one prerequisite that you have to bear in mind whenever you try and apply the lookup functionality with picture. Okay, so if the lookup functionality has to work perfectly fine with picture, this is one prerequisite, or this is one pre-requirement that you have to ensure. Okay, now just in case if you're working for an institution or you're working for an organization and you need to write, now there are some, let me give you some examples of some scenarios where you could apply this functionality. Let's say you have a student database, and you have a database which has got students' pictures. Okay, and then depending on the student's name, which shows up over here, you want Excel to throw up the corresponding picture for you. So that this is one place where you could write. Or you are dealing with an employee's database, and the database is quite huge, but for some reason you want Excel to pull up the pictures for you. Then these are some circumstances that you could use. So for example, there was a HR recruitment company for whom I had done some consultation some time back, and they wanted to use Excel to generate ID cards for their employees. Okay, so they wanted to create a functionality within Excel where on one page they would have all the employees' details loaded. That is, they would have so typically the kind of information that you would find in an ID card, that is department, contact number, address, etc. And then we placed their pictures, and then what we did was we created a sheet where we would select the employees one by one, and then Excel, we used a combination of VLOOKUP and then lookup of this picture, and then that is how we managed to generate the ID cards for that organization. So these my point was, I'm just giving you some scenarios where you could go ahead and apply some of these functionalities that we are learning as a part of today's session. Now let's start off with our session, or let's start off with the functionality now. So basically we're going to learn how to write a lookup for using picture. So at first you have to select your entire data array. Okay, you have to select your entire data array like this. Then you have to go to the option that says formulas. Okay, you have to go to the option that says formulas, and then you have to click on this option right next to name manager that says create from selection. Okay, you have to click on this option that says create from selection. Okay, so you have to click on this option that says create from selection. So in a minute, I'll explain what exactly this does, but you will get an option like this, and then by default, Excel has selected the option left column. Okay, so you have to make sure there's a check mark right next to it. In most of the cases, what would happen is Excel would have understood the nature of your data, and it would have selected this option by default, and then just say OK. Okay, and then just say OK. Now I'll explain to you what has happened. Now, as a part of our first session, we had learned a functionality in Excel which was called as Name Manager. Okay, which is called as Name Manager. So let's go to Name Manager, and if you see, Excel has created some range references for us. Okay, Excel has by default it has created some range references for us. Okay, so what Excel has done is Excel, based on the data that I had already selected, what Excel did was Excel has understood that I'm dealing with the data, and Excel has created name managers for each of my picture. Okay, so ideally what I should have done is I should have gone to name manager, clicked on new option, and then I should have done this manually for all my data entries. Okay, so this was what we had learned as a part of a first day. I should have done this manually, but now what I did was I automated the entire process. Okay, so I made Excel automatically create all the name managers corresponding to each of my data set. So I'll repeat the step once again. Select your data set. Okay, select your entire data set. Go to create from selection. So what is happening in the in the backdrop is, or in the background is, Excel is creating name managers corresponding to each of my pictures. Okay, so and then just say okay, and then let me go to name manager and then let me explain. So what Excel has done in the background is Excel has created name managers corresponding to each of my picture. So for example, for the first entry, Batman, it has created the name manager corresponding to the picture. So instead of me sitting and manually doing this, I have made Excel carry out the functionality. Okay, I have made Excel carry out this functionality. Okay, now now we are going to design the formula where we want the pictures to be displayed. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and design, and then let Excel or select the place where we want the pictures to be displayed. So what in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data validation for all the names that I have over here. Okay, I'm going to create a data validation for all the names that I have over here. So how do I do that? I go to data, okay, data validation. This we had learned yesterday. Okay, so I go to data validation, click on the first option, and then say validation criteria. I'm going to change that to list. Okay, and I'm going to define my source. This is my source. Okay, so this is my source, and then I'm going to close this and I'm going to say okay. Okay, so now what has happened is I have created a validation based on the list. Okay, so I've created a validation based on the list of superheroes that I have over here. Okay, so if I select, what will happen is it will automatically give me the names of the superheroes. But that still doesn't solve my problem. I want Excel in this particular cell, which is F3. Okay, in this particular cell, which is F3, I need Excel to give me the pictures. Okay, I need Excel to give me the pictures corresponding to these superheroes over here. Okay, so for this, now what I am going to do is I'm going to go to the first picture in my database. I'm going to go to the first picture in my database. And one thing that you have to remember here is, please do not select the picture. Okay, so if you notice, as of now, my cursor, using my cursor, I have selected the picture, but that is not what we want. What I want now is, or what I expect all the participants to do is, you have to select the cell which contains the picture. Okay, so you have to select the cell B2 which is containing the picture. Okay, then do a Control C on your keyboard. Okay, do a Control C on your keyboard. Okay, do a Control C on your keyboard. Okay, then come to the cell where you want the pictures to be displayed. Okay, so I want my pictures to be displayed in F3. Okay, I want my pictures to be displayed in F3. Come there, right click. Okay, right click, and you have to select the option that says paste special. Okay, select the option. Please don't click on it. Once you hover over it, you will see that right next to it, another option like this opens up. Okay, so like corresponding right next to it, another option like this opens up. So I'll repeat the steps once again. Please go to the first cell in your data array which has a picture. Select the cell. Please don't select the picture. Please select only the cell. Go to the place where you want to paste your picture. Go there. Right click, just hover over paste special. Please do not click. If you click, you will not get this option. Just hover over it and then look for this option, and this option should be right at the end. It should say linked picture. So paste special linked picture. Okay, so paste special linked picture. Click on that option. Okay, so I'll repeat the steps once again. Please go to the first cell in your data array which has the picture. copy it. Please remember, you have to select the cell, not the picture. Go to the cell where you would like your picture to be displayed. Right click, paste special. Okay, right click, paste special. Okay, and then look for an option. Vijay sir, if you can quickly give me a feedback. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine, fine, fine.
Was there a disturbance?
Yes, in between, in between. Now it's fine.
Okay, I'm just going to wait here for a minute because I just got a quick update saying that there was a surge on the network, because of which some participants have lost connectivity. So I'm just quickly going to pause here for a minute. Vijay sir, is my screen visible to you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Just in case if any participants are having any issues, you can just quickly drop us a message in the chat. Okay, so we will continue from there. I'll quickly repeat the steps once again. Once again. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go to paste special, okay, and then select this option that says linked picture. Okay, now if you come back and then if you try and change the options, you notice that the pictures are not still changing. The pictures are not changing at all, because this is because our functionality is not complete as yet. This is because our functionality is not complete as yet. Now we have to write another formula to make this picture dynamic. That is, the moment I change my name over here, the moment I change the name over here, it should display the corresponding picture over here. Okay, so for this we have to write a formula, and for writing this formula you will have to go to the formula tab on top, click on that option that says name manager. Okay, you have to go to formula and then click on the option that says name manager. Okay, click on the option that says name manager. Over here on name manager option, please select the option that says new. Okay, please select the option that says new. Okay, so in name manager, please click on the option that says new, and here you can give a name for your lookup formula. Okay, so you can give a name for the lookup formula. So in this case, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving the name as pick look. Okay, so you can give it any name that you want, but for me in this case, I'm going to write this as pick look. Okay, I'm going to give the name to this formula as pick look. Then we have to write the formula over here. Okay, then we have to write the formula over here. So the formula is index. Okay, the formula is index, open bracket. Now we have to define our data array. Okay, so we have to define our data array. Okay, so my data array in this case is where I have my pictures. Okay, so this is my data array where I have my pictures. Okay, so I've selected starting from B2 to B6. Okay, so this is the place where I have my pictures. So B2 to B6. Okay, comma, match. Okay, match. Okay, comma, match, open bracket. Okay, comma, open bracket. Now remember I had created a data validation. Okay, so that is my data validation is over here. So I have to let Excel know this is my reference point. So click on over here. So I've got here as F2, comma. Okay, now I have to define the array for this. So where exactly is my names mentioned? Okay, or in which array are the names mentioned? So the names are mentioned in this array that is starting from A2 to A6. Okay, A2 to A6, comma 0. So remember we have to define what kind of a match we want as a part of match formula. Do we want an exact match or do we want an approximate match? Okay, so close the brackets and then say okay. Okay, so I've got this formula. I've prepared the formula for looking up for the pictures. Okay, so I'll repeat this formula once again. What you have to do is for this you have to go to Name Manager, click on New. Name Manager, click on New, and then give a name. So I'm going to give the name as Pick Look. Okay, refers to. So you have to give a name for this. Okay, or you have to write the formula for this. So refers to index. Index. Remember the index formula we had learned at second day that we are using the same functionality over here. Index, open bracket. Okay. Now you have to give the array of where your pictures are mentioned. Okay, or your pictures are placed. So mention that array, comma, match. Okay, comma, match. Open bracket. Okay, comma, open bracket. Now we have to write the complete match functionality. So match functionality is we want Excel to do a lookup based on the name that we are selecting here. So the names we are selecting from, the names we are mentioning in the cell F2. Okay, we are selecting the names in the cell F2, comma. Okay, now we have to select the name array. So the name array is in A2 to A6. A2 to A6. Close the bracket. Okay, and then close these brackets and then say okay. 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 Now, but our functionality is still not over. There is one last step that we have to do. Okay, there is one last step we have to do. So now let's click on this picture. Okay, please click on the picture. Now, what you would notice is in the formula bar here, okay, in the formula bar over here, we have got the corresponding formula which links the pictures. Okay, we've got the corresponding formula which links the picture. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to mention this as is equal to, you remember the name of the formula that we had written for looking up for pictures. So for me, it is pick look. So I'm going to say is equal to pick look, and then I'm going to just press enter. Okay. Now notice what happens. I'm going to come to my data validation. I'm going to change the name. So the moment I change my name, notice the picture is changing simultaneously over here. Okay. So my picture is changing simultaneously over here. Okay. So I'll repeat the entire step once again for the benefit of, so I'll just quickly delete all this. I'll repeat the steps once again for you. Okay. So our prerequisite is that our database should be prepared in this manner. We should have all our names and all placed and named appropriately. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my picture database like this, picture database array like this, and I'm going to say create from selection. So the moment I do, and then I have to make sure this option is selected, left column, and then say okay. Okay, left column, and then I say okay. So now what Excel does in the background is Excel simultaneously creates the name managers or the name references, range references corresponding to each of my pictures. Okay, it will create the range references corresponding to each of my pictures. Okay. Now I'm going to set up a data validation over here. Okay, I'm going to set up a data validation over here because I'm going to tell or I want Excel to throw up the pictures for me based on the name that I'm selecting from the drop-down list. So I've created a data validation over here. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to I've got the names over here, but that does not, with that, my functionality is not fully over. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cell which has my picture, copy this, come here, paste special. Okay, just point over it, don't click on it, just hover over it. You will get an option like this, and then select this option that says linked picture. Okay, select this option that says linked picture. Click on it, okay, but still not over. Go to data, okay, so go to formula, click on name manager, okay, click on name manager, and then say new, okay, then say new. Now we have to give a name. So I'm just going to slightly change the name now, and I'm just going to give this name as FTP. You can give any name that you like. Now let us write the formula. So is equal to index, open bracket, okay, select the data, select the array which has got your pictures placed. Okay, select the array which has got your pictures placed, comma, match. Okay, so now when we write this match part, this match part is responsible for understanding what name we are selecting from this drop down, and then displaying the corresponding name over here. Okay, so the name I'm going to select from E2, okay, comma. Now my name database is mentioned, my name array is over here. This is where my name array is mentioned. So I have an array of A2 to A6, close bracket, close. So we have to close two brackets and then say okay. Okay, I think I have not, as a part of the match, I've not completed my match functionality. That's why it gave me an error. So let me just write this once again, is equal to index, open bracket, okay, is equal to index, open bracket. Okay, select your picture array, then write match, open bracket. Our data validation is going to be mentioned in E2. So select E2, comma, then select your name array, comma, 0, because we want an exact match, close bracket, and then say okay. Okay. So that gives us the, we have created a range reference over here. But that is, our step is still not complete. There is one last step we have to do. Okay, then we have to come, click on this picture, change this formula. Okay, so change this formula. So for me, the formula's name was FTP. Okay, so FTP, then say okay, and then let's just press enter. Okay, now let's see what happens. So the moment I change my drop downs over here, notice how my pictures are correspondingly changing. Okay, so let's say I selected Cyborg, and it is giving me here, it is displaying the picture corresponding to Cyborg from my database. So if I change this to Superman, it is displaying the picture corresponding to Superman. So this is how you would be writing the functionality of this is how you'll be going ahead and carrying out the functionality of a lookup use for pictures. Okay, this is how we would be carrying out a functionality of lookup using pictures. So I shall pause here maybe for a minute or two, just in case if anyone has any queries with respect to, pictures, you can quickly ask. Okay, so I have not got any requests. There was, in the meanwhile, there was a request if I could explain the entire thing again. What I shall do is I shall not waste the other participants' time right now. Maybe in towards the end, for the benefit of those of you who would like me to repeat the entire steps, I will be more than happy to. So I shall repeat the steps once again, else we would be, because the steps for lookup using picture, it will take some amount of time. So respecting the other participants' time, I shall spare some time towards the end. Once I'm done with all the sessions, I shall be sparing some time to repeat the steps once again for you. Okay. Now let's quickly move on to the next part. The next part that we are going to be learning is what is called as goal seek. Okay. So the next one that we are going to be learning is called as goal seek. We will be learning what is called as goal seek. Now, goal seek is a wonderful functionality that you could use in Excel, and it is available in the option that says data. It is available in the option that says data, and in data there's an option that says what if analysis. Okay, in under data there's an option that says what if analysis, and you would see an option over here that says goal seek. Okay, so let's now talk about the scenarios where we have to use goal seek. Okay, let's talk about the scenarios where we have to use goal seek. So goal seek, we would be using a goal seek in order to compute the input value to get a desired result. Okay, so now for example, it's something like this: 2 plus dash is equal to 4. Okay, so we know that our result has to be 4, but what should we add along with 2 to get the total answer as 4? Okay, so we would use the functionality of goal seek to understand what our input value should be to get a desired result. Okay, so we would be using the goal seek functionality to understand what should our input value be in order to get a desired result. Okay, so in other words, we are making Excel carry out a reverse calculation. Okay, we are making Excel carry out a reverse calculation. We know that we have a desired output, we want a desired answer, but to arrive at that answer, what should our input variables be? Okay, so that we can use using the functionality which is called as goal seek. So now let's quickly get back to our Excel sheets. I want all of you to turn over to the Excel sheet that says goal seek. Okay, I want all of you to turn over to the sheet that says goal seek. Here I have given you the values. Okay, so I have given you some pieces of information, and the pieces of information that I've provided you over here is how many units that are produced, what are the number of units, what is the price per unit, what is the total revenue. Okay, so how the total revenue is calculated by multiplying the number of units produced by price per unit. Here I've given the cost per unit. So here in my case it is 2 rupees. Okay, it is 2 rupees per unit, and I've given the total cost. Now here I'm calculating the profit. Now how do I calculate the profit? Profit I'm calculating revenue minus total cost. Okay, revenue minus total cost will give my profit. Revenue minus total cost will give me my profit. Okay. Now, very simple calculation. Now I am talking about some scenarios. Now the scenario that I have over here is I want my profit to increase from 1000 to 1500. Okay, I want it to change from 1000 to 1500. Okay, now I'm also specifying, I'm specifying that I want this to increase from 1000 to 1500 by changing the number of units that I'm producing. Okay, or producing and then I'm selling simultaneously. Okay, so by changing the number of units that I'm producing. Okay, so I will show you how you can use goal seek in this. Okay, scenario. So go to data, what if analysis, goal seek. Okay? Go to data, what if analysis, goal seek. Now here we have to decide what is the value that we want to set. Okay, so we are interested in setting profit. Okay, we are interested in setting profit. Now we want profit, which is mentioned in B9, to change to what value? Okay, to what value do we want this to change to? So I want this to change to 1500. Okay, I have profit as 1000. Now from 1000 I want my profit to increase to 1500. Now which variable am I willing to change? Okay, I'm flexible to a change in which variable. So for me, I'm ready to change the number of units that I'm producing. Okay, I'm ready to change the number of units that I'm producing. So I have to select that. Okay, so this is how your goal seek page should be looking like. Here we have the set here as a part of set cell, we have defined which cell are we expecting our desired value. Second column, we have second row, we are mentioning we want that to change to what level. Okay, so for me, I want my profit, which is mentioned in B9, to change to 1500. Now, what value am I willing to change? So for me, in my scenario, I'm willing to change the number of units produced. Okay, I'm willing to change the number of units produced. And let's click on OK. Okay, so it has given, if you notice, Excel has automatically changed my values. Now Excel is telling me that if I change my number of units from 500 to 750, then I will get 1500. Okay, I will get 1500 as my desired value. Okay, so if I want 1500 as my profit, then I should increase number of units produced to 750. Okay, I should increase my I should increase my production from 500 to 750. Okay, so this is in a nutshell, this is probably one of the easiest example that I could quote for you for a goal seek option. Now let's talk about the second scenario. The second scenario, I want a profit of 2000. Okay, I want a profit of 2000. This time I'm willing to change my price per unit. So I'm willing to change my price per unit, which means I'm willing to change my price per unit from 4 rupees to whatever value that I get. So let's try and apply what if analysis for this. So I'm going to click on data, what if analysis, goal seek. I'm set my value. I'm willing to set my profit, and I want profit to be set to a value of 2000, and I'm ready to change my price per unit. Okay, I'm ready to change my price per unit. So let's click on OK, and let's see what happens. So if I want a profit of 2000, then my price per unit should change from 4 rupees to 6 rupees. Okay, it should change from 4 rupees to 6 rupees. Okay, so this is how we could be using goal seek and option. Okay, so I want all of you to try the last option. Last option is I need a profit of 1200, but this time I'm willing to change my cost per unit. Okay, as a practice, I want all of you to try the last option, the last scenario. The last scenario is where we have to change the profit. We want a profit of 1200, but this time we are willing to change the cost per unit. Okay, so I shall pause here maybe for a minute while you try that. Okay, so in the meanwhile, there was a query if we would be sharing the recordings. Yes, like I had mentioned, we are recording all our sessions, but we may not be able to record all our sessions in the crude form. We are in the process of editing it. It should be over maybe in a day or two. Once it is done, we shall be uploading it. The links we will be sharing through email as well as in the WhatsApp group. And in the meanwhile, let me just quickly work this out for you. So let's apply goal seek. So in this case, goal seek, I want my profit, and my profit should change to 1,200. This time I'm flexible to change my cost per unit. Okay, this time I'm flexible to change my cost per unit. So by changing value, cost per unit, and then say okay, and then let's click on OK, and let's see what happens. So if I change my cost per unit to 1.6, then I will get a profit of 1,200. Some of you have already messaged the answers for me in the chat. I'm very happy that you managed to solve this on your own. Okay. Now, the next tool that we are going to learn is called as the solver tool. Okay, the next tool is called as the solver tool. So before I get on to solver tool, let me give you a context. So for this, I want all of you to turn over to the third sheet, solver. I want all of you to turn over to the third sheet, solver. At the same time, let me just quickly bring up the PPT here for you. Let's quickly bring up the PPT here. Okay. So solver analysis is actually an add-in. It is not a functionality that you would find by default in Microsoft Excel. It comes actually as an add-in. Now, in the case when we had applied goal seek, we were actually playing with one variable. Okay. We all the circumstances, that all the three scenarios that we discussed, we were willing, or we were flexible only with one variable. But what if you have more than one variable? You have to consider, or you have to factor more than one variable. In such cases, goal seek may not work for you, because if you would have noticed the options of goal seek option gives you or the entire framework of goal seek, it is such that it considers only one parameter. It considers only one parameter. So what if you have more than one parameter? In such cases, how do you apply? So in such cases, we cannot go ahead and use goal seek. So this is the place where we will be using the option of solver analysis. Okay. Now, I just want to give you a heads up. Solver analysis by default may not be enabled in your Microsoft Excels. So we have to go ahead and enable that. And I'll also explain to you, or I will also show you how you could enable solver analysis into your Excels. But before I do that, let me just give you a quick explanation about the context. Now, I have picked up on the same example. Okay, so I have picked up on the same example, the same computation sheets from the previous one. But let's talk about the scenarios here. So here, I want a profit of 2,000. But this time, I'm willing to change my price per unit. At the same time, I'm willing to change my cost per unit. Okay, I'm willing to change my price per unit, but at the same time, I'm willing to change my cost per unit. So if I were to use goal seek, goal seek may not be an appropriate option for me, because goal seek gives me a window to consider only one variable at a time. It gives me an option to consider only one variable at time. So I cannot carry this out using goal seek option. So this is the place where I have to apply the option of solver analysis. So I had already mentioned solver analysis is an add-in that comes in Excel. Now I would be showing you how you could enable solver analysis onto your systems. So please click on File. Okay, please click on File and click on the option that says Options. Okay, click on the option that says Options. So you would get a page like this. Here, you have to look out for an option that says Add-in. Okay, you have to look out for an option that says Add-in. Okay, so it would be somewhere here, maybe second last. So for me, it is second last. Maybe depending on your version, it may slightly change, but it should be somewhere there. Okay, click on Add-in. Okay. Then you would see an option that says manage. Okay? That should be at the bottom. Okay? So it says manage, and then from the drop down there are a number of lists, but here you have to make sure by default it will be at the first option that says Excel add-in. Okay? Manage Excel add-in, and then say go, and then say go. Okay, and then say go. Okay, and it's just a quick update for all the participants. Today I would be extending my session a little bit more because I had to spend some time at the beginning and giving you the general instructions regarding the feedback form, and also I had already given an updation yesterday requesting that I would be extending my session today maybe for a few more minutes, because considering we are dealing with some complex functionalities. Okay, so you would have an option which looks like this. Okay, we would have an option which looks like this. Please put a check mark on solver add-in. Okay, please put a check mark on solver add-in. Okay, and then say okay. Okay, and then you should say okay. Okay, so for me in this case it is installing, so I'm just going to quickly maybe wait for a minute or two while that happens. Okay, so yeah, so if for me here it has been installed. Now how do you come to know if the solver analysis add-in has been enabled for you? So that you can confirm by clicking on data tab. Please click on data tab. Okay, and then you should see an option that says solver. Okay, so if you're able to see this option over here, it means the solver analysis add-in has been enabled for you. Okay, you would come to know that the solver analysis add-in has been enabled for you. So I'll repeat the steps once again. Please click on file, option, okay, go to add-ins, okay, Excel add-in, click on go. You would see an option like this. Just put a tick mark and then say okay. So sometimes it may have to download maybe some framework files, but it should not take too long. It should be done in a minute or two depending on your internet speed. And how do you check if the solver analysis add-in has been enabled? Click on data, and then you should see this option that says solver. So by this you'll get an affirmation, you'll get a confirmation that solver analysis add-in has been enabled for you. Okay, so now click on this. Once you click on this, you would get a pop-up window which looks like this. Okay, you would get a pop-up window which looks like this, and in some cases what may happen is that you may have some pre-filled. Okay, so you would get an option which looks like this. So for me, since I had already done some exercises previously, I have some of these options which are already pre-filled. So I'm just going to quickly remove all that. Just quickly remove all this. Okay, so this is how it should be looking for you. Okay, this is how you should be looking for you. Now, here, solver analysis is pretty much similar to your goal seek. Okay, it is pretty much similar to your goal seek option, but here it's just that it has a window. It has an option where it could consider a lot more parameters. Okay, it has a window where you could consider a lot more parameters. Now here, let me just drag this over here so that I could explain what exactly we want. So in the first scenario, we want to increase the profit, but to increase the profit, what we also want to do is simultaneously we are willing to change the price that is price per unit as well as cost per unit. So we are willing to do both. Okay, we are willing to do both. Okay, so I'm going to set my objective. My objective is profit, and profit is mentioned in B9. Okay, profit is mentioned in B9. Okay, now you could use solver analysis for a number of scenarios. For example, you could use solver analysis to calculate maximum possible, minimum possible. Now in my case, I have a set target, and my set target is profit of 2000. So I would not select max or min. Instead, I would select value of, and then I will mention my value here. I will mention my value here. Now, the next option is, what are the variables that I'm willing to change? Okay, what are the variables that I'm willing to change? So the variables that I'm willing to change are here. In this case, it is units produced, comma. Okay, I'm willing to change the price per unit, so I'll select that again, comma. And then I'm also ready to change cost per unit, so I would select that also. Okay. So I'm willing to change 3 parameters. The first parameter that I'm willing to change is the number of units that I'm producing. Second parameter, I'm also okay to change the price per unit. At the same time, I'm also okay to select, I'm also okay to change cost per unit. Okay. Okay. So these are the things that I'm ready to change. Okay. Now, in the first scenario, I don't really have any constraints. Okay. I have not mentioned any constraints. Unlike the other two scenarios, I have not mentioned any constraints over here. So this is pretty much it. Now here, if you notice, there is an option that says select solving method. Okay. So here there are a number of methods which are available, but the other two methods, that is simplex and evolutionary method, these two methods are generally time consuming methods, which means my system may not be available for a certain period of time when Excel goes ahead and carries out this calculation. And also, since the kind of scenario that I'm giving you over here, since it's a very simple scenario, GRG non-linear solving method is perfectly fine. Okay. So I'm just going to click on solve. Now let's notice what happens. So Excel is taking a few moments to work out the calculation. Okay. So now Excel has come back with my calculation. Now these are the answers to my scenario. So now what Excel is telling me is that if I produce 4,999.99 units at a price of 2.7, and if I sell them at a price of 2.7, and if I try and retain my so I think I've made a mistake when I defined my profit. So let me just quickly go and correct that. Okay, I changed this to I had mentioned this as 200. So let me change that to 2000 and then solve once again. So my answers may slightly change this time. Okay, my answers may slightly change. Okay, so this is what may basically more or less what I wanted. So what Excel is now telling me is, if I change my units produced to this, which is 500.003, and if I sell it at 4 rupees 49 paise, and if I retain my cost of production at 50 paise, then for sure I will get a profit of 2000. Okay, I will get a profit of 2000. Now there's a small flip side with this calculation. Okay, if you notice, my units produced are in decimals. Now in reality, I cannot have 500.003 units produced. In real life, it has to be a whole number. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to go back to my solver analysis screen. Now I'm going to give some conditions here. Okay, I'm going to give some conditions over here. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click on this option that says add. Okay, I'm going to click on this option that says add. Now I'm going to define a condition. Now my condition is units produced, which is mentioned in B2. Okay, units produced in B2, it has to be a integer. Okay, it has to be a integer. So I'm just click on add. Okay, and then I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to try and solve this again. So let me see now what happens. Okay, let me see now what happens. Okay, now what solver analysis is telling me is, in real life, I cannot produce my number of units in decimals. So I want it to be full numbers. So if I produce 500 units, sell it at 4.5, retain my cost of production at 50 paise, then for sure, I will get a profit of 2000 rupees. So here, I have considered at least 3 parameters to solve my problem. Okay, I have considered at least 3 parameters to solve my problem. Okay, so this is how you could use solver analysis, and you could leverage on Excel to solve complex scenarios for you. Okay, so now you may understand it better when we talk about the other examples. Okay, so let's just quickly move on to the other scenarios. Now, if you move to scenario 2, I want a profit of 2000. I'm willing to change my price per unit, and I'm willing to change my cost per unit. But this time, my price per unit has to be low. It has to be greater than 4.25. Okay? It has to be greater than 4.25, and my cost of production has to be more than 1 rupee. Okay, it has to be more than 1 rupee. So I'm going to use these scenarios. I'm going to input these limitations, these constraints into my solver analysis. So how would I do that? Go back to solver. Okay, so I have the previous layouts which I've already input. I just have to add these two constraints. So let me click on add. Okay, now what I want is my price per unit. Okay, my price per unit has to be greater than or equal to, okay, greater than or equal to 4.25. Okay, add this. My next condition is my cost per unit. Okay, this has to be more than 1 rupee. Okay, so add this. Okay, now let me try and solve and see what happens. Let me try and solve and see what happens. So it's taking a while. Now the computation speed for solver analysis, it may depend on the configurations of your computer. So if you have a high-end processor, more memory, then what happens is it would take less amount of time. If you have a lower, it may take a more amount of time. So solver analysis has come back with an answer based on my constraints. Now what it's telling me is I have to produce 616 units, sell it at 4 rupees and 24 paise. Okay, so in this case it will be 4 rupees and 25 paise. And if I try and retain my cost of production at this level, then I will get a profit of 2000 rupees. Okay, I will get a profit of 2000 rupees. Okay, so this is how you could use solver analysis to solve your complex problems. Okay, which considers a number of parameters, and then you could solve complex problems. Now let's look at the last option, the last scenario. So in the last scenario, or probably what I'll do is I shall pause here maybe for a minute, and then I want all of you to try this, and then if you're not able to get the answer, maybe at the end of the next few minutes, we shall solve it together. Hello, Kartika ma'am, was that a query? So please try this scenario. Please try this scenario applying all these constraints. So here I've made a little bit more difficult. I've added one more constraint. So I want a profit of 2,500, but my production, that is number of units that I produce, my maximum capacity is 1,000, which means I cannot produce more than 1,000. Then my cost cannot be less than 1 rupee, and my price per unit cannot be more than 4 rupees. So based on this, let's see what possible answer you're getting. Please try and use solver analysis, and let's see what is the answer that you're getting. Okay, so for the benefit of all the participants, I'll do the entire thing once again. So I have reset everything. You can do that by clicking on reset all option. Now let me define my objective. My objective is my profit. Okay, and profit in this case, I want it to be set to 2500. So I want it to be increased to 2500. What are the values that I'm willing to change? The values that I'm willing to change are the number of units which are produced. Okay, the values that I'm willing to change here are the number of units that are produced. Then I'm willing to change the price per unit. Then I'm also willing to change the cost per unit. So I have 3 inputs. Now let me define the conditions one by one. Condition 1, my production. Okay, let me select the cell reference. My production cannot be more than 1000. So this has to be less than or equal to 1000. Okay, this is less than or equal to 1000. Now I'm going to add one more constraint over here, because my units produced, it has to be full number. So I'm going to set that to integer. Okay, I'm going to set that to integer, because if I don't set this, what happens is units produced, solver analysis may come back with decimal points. But in real life, I cannot produce my units in decimals. Next parameter is that my units price per unit, this cannot be more than, okay, this cannot be more than 4 rupees. So I'll add this. And my next constraint is my cost per unit cannot be less than 1 rupee. So my cost per unit cannot be less than 1 rupee. Okay, so I added this. So I've put in 4 constraints. Let me try and solve this with this and see what solver analysis gives me as an answer. Okay, so let me see what solver analysis gives me as an answer. Okay, I'm pretty happy some of you have already got the answers. So I think based on what response I got, I think the answer is almost the same. We can produce, if we produce 834 units. Okay, if you produce 834 units, sell them at 3 rupees 99 paise. Okay, and then if you limit your cost of production to this level, then you will get a profit of 2500. Okay, so this is how you could be using solver analysis. Now solver analysis can be actually used from a business context. It can be used for a number of scenarios. It can be used in scenarios where you have to choose an optimal product mix. You have to decide on what is your production capacity, etc. These are some scenarios where you could use a solver analysis. And solver analysis, the entire package by itself, it's a very, very powerful package. And actually the company which designs this add-in, they have an understanding with Microsoft Excel, or they have an understanding with Microsoft where they're providing this add-in free of cost. But if at all you check on solver.com, which is the official website which manages this add-in, some of their add-ins, some of their advanced analysis modules, these are actually very costly. But thankfully, as a part of Microsoft Excel, it is coming to us free of cost. Okay, so this solver analysis add-in, as long as you're using a licensed version of Excel, it should be available to you free of cost. Okay. So with that, we have come to the end of the FTP. And before we quickly wind up, since yesterday I got a number of requests from a lot of people, especially those of you who are in academics, how exactly you could go about carrying statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. I'll just quickly show you the option. Go to File, Options. Okay, go to File, go to Options, go to Add-in. Okay, Manage Excel Add-ins, then say click on Go. Okay, and then you would see this. You would see an option like this. Okay, click on Analysis Tool Pack. Okay, so click on Analysis Tool Pack and then say OK. So now what happens is the add-in for your statistical analysis. So by default, statistical analysis is not enabled on your Excel. Okay, by default, statistical analysis is not enabled on your Excel, but if you activate this add-in, you will be able to do a statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. Okay, so please click on this data analysis. Okay, please click on this data analysis option. So here you would see the various statistical tools which are which that we would use as a part of our statistical analysis. So for example, ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, F-test, histogram, regression, t-test, z-test, etc. Okay, so this is how you could carry out statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. Since I got a number of requests yesterday, statistical analysis I may not be able to cover as a part of this FTP, but at least I will be happy to share how you could use Microsoft Excel to carry out statistical analysis. Okay, so with that being said and done, we have come to the end of this 4 days FTP on advanced data analysis. Like I had previously mentioned, at the end of this FTP, we will be sharing the feedback forms with all of you. I humbly request all of you to please take some time and then please make sure that you provide the details with us appropriately so that we would generate the certificates for you. Or also in the meanwhile, we would need approximately 15 days. We will try and process it as soon as possible, but we would request you to cooperate with us. We will try and maybe process it within a week or so, but just in case if there is some delay in generating the QR enabled certificates, please bear with us. In the meanwhile, I just want to let the participants know. So thank you for your wonderful cooperation. Thank you for being very patient and being with us. And in the meanwhile, there were a couple of people who had some queries with the lookup pictures. So I will explain that once again. But for the others, just in case if you have understood the concept, you're free to drop off. Otherwise, if you have any queries, maybe I shall pause here for a minute. You can quickly drop off, or you can quickly raise your hands. Just in case if you have any doubts, you can quickly raise your hands. We'll be happy to unmute you, and then we'll take your queries. Once we are done with the queries, we will move on, and then we will do a refresher on the lookup using picture. Okay, so yes, so I'm just going to quickly unmute sir. Sir, good afternoon. We have unmuted you. You could speak now.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, I would like to know what is this dollar sign for coming in? Like when you select cells, in some formulas the dollar sign is coming, whereas in other formulas the dollar sign is not coming. Can you please explain for that?
Sure. So for this, I'm just going to quickly open up another Excel sheet, and I'll just quickly explain that. So in Microsoft Excel, there is something which is called as a referencing. Okay, so for example, let me type a value over here, 1 2 3 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Okay, now I'm going to come to this particular cell B3, and I'm going to type is equal to A2. Okay, now if you notice, B3 is reflecting the same value as A1. So any changes I make, it will correspondingly be reflecting over here. This is because I have put a referencing. Okay, I have put a referencing. This is referred to as referencing. Now in Microsoft Excel, there are two kinds of referencings that we can have. One is called as dynamic references. Okay, one is called as dynamic references. Second is called as static references, or it's called as fixed references. One is called as dynamic references, the other is called as fixed references. So for me to explain this to you better, let me just quickly. Okay, so I have some values displayed over here. I have values mentioned in B column ranging from 1 to 80. Okay. Now here in D, I'm going to put a referencing. I'm going to say D1 is equal to B1. Okay. D1 is equal to B1. Now I'll come here, I click on this and I drag this down like this. You notice my formulas are getting updated accordingly. Okay. So here what I gave was B1, and when I scroll down, it has changed to is equal to B18. Okay. That's because what I've given over here is what is called as a dynamic referencing. Okay. What I've given over here is what is called as dynamic referencing. It is also called as relative reference. This is called as a relative reference. So the formula has changed according to my cells. This is called as dynamic referencing, or it's called as relative referencing. But I don't want it to change like this. I want it to be fixed. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to say is equal to B2. Okay, I'm going to place is equal to B2, and I'm going to put dollar signs over here. Dollar in front of B and dollar in front of 2. Okay, now I'm going to drag this down like this. Now notice this time my Excel has behaved differently, and any place where I go to, the formula is the same. It is always is equal to B dollar B $2. Okay, dollar B $2. This is called as fixed referencing, or this is called as absolute referencing. So there are some scenarios where your reference values have to be fixed. They cannot be dynamic in nature. Okay? They cannot be dynamic in nature. So wherever you want it to be, fixed, you have to fix your referencing using dollar symbol. Wherever you want it to be dynamic, you have to take off the dollar symbols. Now in the previous case, those were automated options, and for that functionality to work perfectly fine, it has to be a relative it has to be a absolute referencing, or it has to be a fixed referencing. Now if you go back to the pictures formula, and if you go to formula, and if you refer to name manager, if you notice here, all the referencings are fixed in nature. So if what Excel has understood is, if I mention the name as Batman, Batman's picture is in cell B2. So this is fixed. This cannot change. This cannot be dynamic in nature. It is something which has to be static. That's why it is applying the dollar symbol. So I hope that query is answered, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome, ma'am. So referencing, since we are doing an advanced version, I have not done as a part of our FDP. But if you actually subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you go through my Excel videos playlist, I have done a video on referencing where I talk about relative referencing and absolute referencing.